American Pickers star Mike Wolf's store charging double for similar antiques. Frank Fritz also carries in his shop. Mike, 59, owns Antique Archaeology with locations in LeClaire, Iowa and Nashville, Tennessee, while Frank, 60, owns Frank Fritz Finds in Savannah, Illinois. The U.S. Sun can exclusively reveal Mike's items are over double the price of Frank's merchandise, as he has been criticized by customers in the past for his overpriced products. Mike is selling a vintage green, red and yellow Coca-Cola sign for a whopping $5,500. A vintage Alka-Seltzer sign is $500, while a barbershop sign is $625. As for Frank Fritz Finds, a vintage Will's S3 Castle cigarette sign is priced at $400, while a Sure Gain Feed Services one will set customers back $350. Frank is selling an antique slot machine for $750, while Mike's vintage game machine is going for $3,500. A vintage scale in Mike's store is on sale for $4,500. A selection of scales range from $175 to $250 in Frank's shop. Frank is charging $150 for a vintage sprinkler figurine, while Mike's antique White Eagle statue is on sale for $4,500. Mike has been slammed by customers for his supposedly overpriced items. One customer wrote on Google Reviews regarding the Iowa store, "I would have happily dropped hundreds of dollars in there if it was something really cool. Instead, it was like 3 things that had been picked ranging from $200 to $4,000. A second commented was so excited to go to the American Pickers store but disappointed it didn't look like it does on TV at all. High-priced stuff with very little parking. A third customer said, "Stuff is a little pricey, but many interesting items." The high antique prices may be hurting the business, as the U.S. Sun reported on Antique Archaeology and Iowa's estimated annual sales back in July. Per Experian's business valuation report, Antique Archaeology's estimated annual sales were reportedly $62,000. The company's business credit score is 23, which is medium-high risk. The report claimed of the score, "This score predicts the likelihood of serious credit delinquencies within the next 12 months. As for the financial stability risk ratings, Antique Archaeology received a medium risk with a 3 out of 5 rating. The report claims this rating predicts the likelihood of payment default and/or bankruptcy within the next 12 months. Fortunately for the American Pickers star, Antique Archaeology Nashville has been doing well. The U.S. Sun previously reported Antique Archaeology Nashville's estimated annual sales per Experian's business valuation report are $903,000. The company's business credit score is low risk, meaning there is a good probability of on-time payment, according to the report. As for the financial stability risk ratings, Antique Archaeology received a low risk with a 2 out of 5 rating, meaning a 1.11% potential risk of severe financial distress within the next 12 months. A rep for Mike and Antique Archaeology did not immediately respond to the U.S. Sun's request for comment. As for Frank's store annual sales, the low prices may be hurting business. Per Experian's business valuation report for Frank Fritz Finds, estimated annual sales are reportedly just $25,000. The company's business credit score is 27 and is medium risk. As for the financial stability risk ratings, the shop received a medium-high risk of 4 out of 5 rating. The report claims this means there is a 10% potential risk of severe financial distress within the next 12 months. Frank's store has struggled since he suffered a stroke in July 2022. The U.S. Sun reported earlier this month on the store's poor conditions, including images of junk throughout the shop. In one photo, there were pieces of wood stacked together with no antique description or price tag. In another, a basket filled with wood scraps could be seen in another corner. Random pieces of metal were stacked together against the wall with no description or price in another photo. There was also a near-empty display case holding vintage soda cans, including a modern-day Coca-Cola one, likely trash left by a customer. The U.S. Sun also reported in September on the broken items in Frank's store. One pic featured drumsticks signed by the Mickey Utley Band with a shattered glass case holding the merchandise. In another photo, a vintage mannequin could be seen covered in spiderwebs. More cobwebs were seen along a windowsill, and even a large spider was seen in one photo. The U.S. Sun reported how Mike's Iowa antique store is constantly flooded with customers, while the same can't be said for Frank's shop. A customer told the U.S. Sun, "Mike always has customers coming in and out of his store. It's a lot of fans who check out the pics seen on the show and buy merchandise. In photos obtained by the US Sun, customers could be seen checking out antiques and waiting in line to purchase their items. As for Frank's store, which is located in 2 back rooms of a bar-restaurant, photos show not one customer. The insider said, customers browse Frank's store once in a while. It's not nearly as busy as Mike's. Frank hasn't been as involved in the business since suffering the stroke. His close friends filed an emergency appointment of a temporary guardian and conservator for the star on August 18, claiming his decision-making capacity is so impaired. But Frank is on the road to recovery, as a source previously told the US Sun. Frank is walking again after the stroke left the right side of his body paralyzed. Frank last appeared on American Pickers during a March 2020 episode, as he took time off to recover from back surgery that left him with 185 stitches and 2 rods in his spine. Mike announced Frank was no longer with the show in 2021. Frank revealed his feud with co-star Mike during a 2021 interview with the US Sun. The two reunited over Memorial Day weekend and are friends today. A source claimed to the US Sun, everything between them is fine. They've known each other for 40 years. They went to high school, they've done all this stuff together. The insider said Mike has visited Frank a handful of times since he suffered the stroke, as the two call and text today as well.